Have you ever wondered what untold stories lie hidden behind the iconic walls of Graceland's mysterious upstairs? Elvis Presley's granddaughter, Riley Keough, has finally broken her silence, revealing family secrets that have remained locked away for decades. What memories, emotions, and mysteries does the king's private sanctuary still hold? Stick around, because you're about to uncover the deeply personal truths that connect Riley to this legendary space, and they're bound to leave you speechless. Riley Keough's life, much like her grandfather's, has been one of constant public scrutiny. Born into a family steeped in musical history, Riley, even from a young age, was keenly aware of her lineage and the weight that came with it. As the granddaughter of Elvis Presley, Riley has always been closely linked to the King of Rock and Roll's legacy, but it wasn't until the tragic loss of her mother, Lisa Marie Presley, in early 2023, that Riley was thrust into the spotlight as the new custodian of Graceland, the Presley family estate, and its many secrets. The responsibility of managing Graceland, with its rich history and its immense cultural significance, was never something Riley anticipated so soon, but it's a responsibility she's learned to accept. But before diving into Riley's role, as the guardian of Graceland's legacy, it's important to understand the history of this iconic estate, what it meant to Elvis Presley and his family, and how it became a central point of emotional connection for so many people who were lucky enough to walk through its doors. Graceland wasn't just Elvis's home. It was a sanctuary, a place to escape the chaos of fame and fortune. The walls, the rooms, the hallways, every inch of Graceland held memories, each more sacred than the last. It wasn't just a house. It was a reflection of Elvis's soul. Graceland's significance reaches far beyond its lavish decor or its iconic status as a tourist destination. It was Elvis's refuge, the place where he could be at peace and surrounded by his family. For many years, the private upstairs quarters of Graceland remained a mystery to the public. They were more than just spaces within a house. They were personal realms that belonged to Elvis and those closest to him. His family, his grandmother, his mother, and later his wife Priscilla, each held their own memories of Graceland's upstairs, a place that could simultaneously be both comforting and isolating. Riley Keough's connection to Graceland is undeniably emotional. Even before becoming the estate's sole trustee, she had spent significant time there. As a young girl, Riley was often seen at Graceland with her mother, Lisa Marie, who had a complex and unique relationship with the home. Lisa Marie's own connection to Graceland was deeply tied to her father, Elvis, and the memories of him that lingered in every room. For Riley, those memories were passed down, often in the form of stories or moments she shared with her mother. In many ways, Riley was raised to understand the legacy that came with Graceland, but it wasn't until her adult life that she became intimately involved with managing its future. It was a responsibility that Riley had been preparing for, albeit unknowingly since she was a teenager. In a recent interview, Riley reflected on how she had been involved in family discussions about Graceland long before her mother's passing. "Even when I wasn't the sole trustee, it's something that I participated in with my mom," Riley shared. "We were very close, so a lot of the Graceland stuff I was already involved in with her." In fact, Riley's connection to Graceland runs deeper than just her role as a trustee. She was also involved in the creation of her mother's memoir, a project that brought Riley even closer to the heart of the Presley legacy. Through the memoir, Riley shared personal stories about spending time with Elvis, stories of quiet moments spent in his private bedroom, surrounded by family. Riley recalled how, as a child, she and her mother would sometimes spend hours in Elvis's bedroom, poring over his personal items, his notes, his books. "You can still feel him in that room," Riley wrote. "His spirit is imprinted there." This room, so full of history and emotion, was not just a place where Elvis rested. It was a sanctuary, a sacred space that had been touched by his presence. Riley, as a young girl, had a vague memory of one particular conversation she had in that room with her mother. They were discussing a passage from one of Elvis's personal Bibles, a Bible that had been marked with underlined passages, notes, and reflections by Elvis himself. It was a conversation that would forever stay with her. I started to call someone to help me remember it, but then I realized, "There's no one left to call," she shared, reflecting on the profound loss of both her mother and brother Ben. In just 3 short years, Riley had experienced unimaginable grief, losing both of her immediate family members in quick succession. Despite the tabloid rumors that circulated following Lisa Marie's death, claiming there was a rift between Riley and her grandmother, Priscilla Presley, Riley quickly put those rumors to rest. In fact, in October of 2024, Riley invited Priscilla to an event at Graceland to surprise guests while promoting Lisa Marie's memoir. This was more than just a gesture. It was a sign of the unity that the Presley family has always maintained despite the challenges they have faced. "We're close," Riley said, speaking of her relationship with Priscilla. "I mean, we've been close my whole life. We've never really had an argument. We're a pretty average family." It was a sentiment that surprised many, considering the intense public attention the Presley family has always had. But Riley's words reflected a different side of the Presley legacy, one that's grounded in love, connection, and family. Though Riley's visits to Graceland's private upstairs quarters were infrequent, Priscilla's history with the home was far more extensive. She had lived there with Elvis for 8 years, a significant period of time that would shape her own personal history in ways that she continues to reflect on. Priscilla's first visit to Graceland was in 1962, during Christmas, when she was just 17 years old. She shared her memories of that day in her book, Elvis and Me, recalling the awe and magic of the experience. "I closed my eyes and he asked the driver to have the gates open. You could see the beautiful gates and they opened. The lights were on. It was so beautiful, more than what I ever expected." For Priscilla, Graceland was a far cry from the small-town life she had known before meeting Elvis. The grandeur of the estate was overwhelming, and it was only the beginning of the profound emotional journey that Graceland would take her on. When she arrived, Elvis led her straight up the iconic white-carpeted stairs to the 2nd floor, where his beloved grandmother, Minnie Mae, affectionately called Dodger, resided. Minnie Mae, who had been a significant figure in Elvis's life, was one of the few family members who lived upstairs with him. When Lisa Marie was born in 1968, Minnie Mae's room was transformed into a nursery for the newborn, and she moved downstairs into Gladys Vernon's former bedroom. After Gladys's passing, Minnie Mae naturally took on a maternal role for Elvis, helping to fill the emotional void left by his mother. This deep bond between Elvis and his grandmother extended to Priscilla as well. Over time, Elvis would have Priscilla model new outfits in front of his grandmother, a sign of the closeness between the two women. As Priscilla and Dodger grew closer, their bond became a cornerstone of Priscilla's life at Graceland. One memorable Christmas in 1962, Elvis gifted Priscilla a tan 6-week-old puppy, which she named Honey. In return, Priscilla gave Elvis a wooden cigarette box that played the tune Surrender, a personal gift that Elvis cherished. Priscilla recalled that Elvis and she often referred to Graceland as living on the hill, a reference to the way the house sat majestically atop a hill in Memphis, Tennessee, overlooking the world below. Priscilla also fondly remembered how Elvis kept his room freezing cold, with the air conditioner constantly humming in the background. "It was cold," she said. "I mean, he liked it cold, and it was dark. It could get real lonely. That's how he liked it. At times like a cocoon, almost like a womb." This was a side of Elvis that few outside his inner circle ever saw. Someone who found comfort in solitude and stillness, away from the prying eyes of the public. Just outside Minnie Mae's former room, stairs led up to Graceland's attic. Here, Priscilla discovered more mysteries. The attic, it turns out, was a place of its own, filled with items from Elvis's past. There were two side-by-side closets, one containing Elvis's clothing from his early days, including black leather, jackets, motorcycle hats, and even a pink shirt that Priscilla recognized from old photos. The other closet was filled with Gladys's belongings, her dresses neatly hung as if waiting for her return. I knew Elvis had put them there, Priscilla said. He couldn't have faced